Hi, everyone, and welcome. Today, I'm very excited because it's going into a topic that most of us, even as women, probably don't talk enough about. And when we talk about reimagining women's health, fashion, or leadership, we're not just talking about better products. We're talking about what we're still afraid to say out loud. And I think that that's a really interesting way to think about it. So, Gillian Ridley
Correct.
Whitley.
I love it.
We're just
Ridley
going to keep
Whittle.
going.
Yeah.
Exactly, because names are also something interesting too, isn't it? We'll talk about that a little bit later. Has spent over 25 years inside the world of big fashion. And then she walked away. And she walked away to create something incredible, Peachaus. So Peachaus is a values-driven brand, and it's built on dignity and comfort and care. And that's, I think, also an important part that we don't talk about enough is the care piece. But even now, in some spaces, certain words are still off limits, which surprised me, and I can't wait to dive into this a bit more. And that actually says everything. So in this episode, we're going to talk about what happens when you stop shrinking yourself to fit and start creating from the body, the truth, and the soul outwardly. So Jilly and I had the opportunity to meet actually when I was preparing for moderating a panel. And I remember the first time we spoke, you said, I feel like a bit of an imposter. What am I doing on this panel about women's health? And we immediately had this instant connection, which I loved. Getting this episode up and running has also been kind of a testament to that, about that we were getting to know each other, and we've both been very patient and understanding. I think this is try number 3, and we heard it also in the introduction. We're just going to flow with things and to take time and have a breath and enjoy this conversation. So thanks for being here. Trial number 3.
I love it. Let's just see how it rolls.
Let's see how it rolls. But I would like to understand a bit about you. Tell us about you and some of your drivers and how you decided to start Peachaus, which is a great product, by the way, because I have ordered a few things and I'm really enjoying them.
Thank you. First thing to say is you're right. I've had a very long fashion career. It's a career I always wanted to have. I had my first sewing machine when I was 7, Snow White and the 7 Dwarfs. And I always knew I was going to come into this industry. I did a fashion degree. And then I started a corporate fashion career. I worked for Marks and Spencer's in my first apprenticeship job. And then I worked around the industry. I latterly, in I guess the last few years of my old life, I call it, I ran Marks and Spencer's underwear. I launched their beauty. I had 4 years in turnaround businesses in Australia, and then Topshop fashion director. I was their last fashion director before they got sold to ASOS. And tell you about me. Well, I'm incredibly passionate. I am very driven. I call myself unstoppable actually right now, Sabine.
Are you?
I am. I'm very curious, and I actually can pride myself in my energy. It's interesting, actually. My mother's just been staying and she said, do you know what, Gillian, I really think you need to be more careful. You're going to burn out, which is quite funny because I have been there. And I'm like, no, Mum, I'm actually in a great place. I have amazing energy. So, yeah.
And what's the difference? That's interesting that you say that, because you're right. You can also, I hear that also quite often in the level and the pace of what we do. But it's different if you're, thriving and loving what you're doing as compared to potentially being pushed under. So for you, what's the difference between the burnout piece and then thriving and where you are now?
Oh, goodness me. I have to at this point go, I have an old life, which I talked about before, and I have a new life. And I had a 4-year transition to my new life. My old life and burnout was deep anxiety. Every day, my normal became living in fight or flight. In my nervous system was very rattled. I was always tired. I was probably quite hyper in many ways. I remember my mum particularly used to say, God, you're just hyper. My thoughts controlled my everyday, and my thoughts actually weren't all good. I became very obsessive with work. I was determined because I've always been this ambitious person and always had goals, which was to be a very high achiever and be perfect. I was determined no one was going to see that. So I was brilliant at putting a mask on and hiding that. So my old self was uncomfortable. Now, rolling the clock forward to where I am now, And I've done a huge amount of work to rewire my mindset, my brain, my mind, my physical, my whole life. Just a different person. And I can honestly say, I mean, I used the word bliss recently. My everything feels just so calm, peaceful, aligned, happy, blissful, confident, no doubts.
Wow, that's incredible not to have any doubts. And when did that happen? Was there, I think sometimes we think about these changes in careers because you definitely had a shift in your career. You stayed in the industry, but it was a shift for you, and instead of working for someone, but you've become an entrepreneur. And was it kind of this, sometimes we think about this aha moment and the light coming down and reflecting and whoa. Was it one of those, or was it a gradual shift?
It was a gradual shift. I mean, my discomfort became my normal. So I just thought, well, this is the career that you've chosen, and it's just like this. So you just have to suck it up and put up with it. I think probably the turning point was when I left Marks and Spencer in 2014. We moved to Australia, and I was in a turnaround job, and I had thought this was my eternal happiness job because it was the most of everything I thought was going to give me happiness: the most money, the biggest teams, the most responsibility. And I embraced that job. I knew it was going to be amazing. And actually, what I learned probably 6, 9 months into the job was that it was really playing on my anxiety levels. I think probably I put a huge amount of pressure on myself because I didn't want to fail. The whole family had come out to Australia. Like I said, I just bought new dresses to make myself feel better. I was glided along on the surface like a swan, but underneath I was
Mhm.
paddling away. And yeah, that for me was kind of a real turning point for me. And then at the same time as that, I realized that the industry that I was in was cruel and destructive. I mean,
Mm.
this had been building up, discounting of products just to drive market share and compete, going to cheaper sources so that you could drive your your bought-in margins. That's not even your net
Mhm.
margins, and taking the beauty out of design and creativity to, again, get things into cost. So it was all just race to the bottom. And I'm just
Mm.
thinking, what am I doing? I'm in meetings all day. I don't see daylight. like a performing monkey. And actually, I just had one day, I was walking on the corridor. It was a Monday, and I just said, I hate today. I hate my life. I've never, ever said that about my life. And I just thought, what is happening? So you kind of got this double whammy going on, this anxiety, realizing I'm in a situation I hate, huge amounts of pressure because of moving out to Australia and all the responsibility, and then realizing that the industry I was in was really quite disgusting, actually. And I'm like, what am I going to do? So that was it. It was about that time. And I just thought, I've got to do something about it. And I found a book, actually, which was called It was about planting seeds to change your life. And I thought, I have to do this because I don't know where this is going to go, but I just have to find a way to start to make a change.
Yeah. Well, congratulations that you did, because look what's evolved from that. And that is also, you think, okay, well, I've made the decision, and then to actually leave. Was it clear for you when you decided to make the cut and to leave and to quit that
No.
you knew that you were going to start Peachaus?
So I had an opportunity. So I finished this first job in Australia, and I had 3 months off. And I was looking for a job. Our options were we come back to the UK, or if I find another job in the 3 months before you get kicked out the country, then we'll stay. So I, in that time, actually, was when I created Peach House. I love creating storyboards and moves and things. And I literally just thought, you know what? I'm part of an industry that's so corrupt, but it's all I know. So actually, why don't I create a brand, the antithesis of this. I always said I would when the time was right. So I came up with a concept. I created mood boards. I actually created a film, came up with the name. It was going to be called Peachaus, but because we loved the Australian free-spirited vibe. And then I decided it was going to be called Peachaus because the peach was tactile, feminine, soft. It would travel globally if it ever became a global brand. Peace is within Peace House community, KUS, Australia free-spirited tribe, each of us as individuals and us as a collective. So it has deep meaning. And actually what I thought I was going to do is create something which was utopia. I don't see why utopia can't exist in fashion. So no seasons, no trends, nothing that perpetuates throwaway. Products sourced from the right factories, which pay their workers well, which are totally sustainable in their approach and their outlook. Fabrics which are soft and kind on your skin, products which flow with your life, they don't own you, challenging the sizing system on our bras, so our products are underwear, sleepwear, loungewear, athleisure, and just coming up with a new genre of clothing and a new way of living and building a lifestyle. I'd love it one day if people went, I live a peach house life, like almost like you can say, yeah, I use a Hoover for a vacuum
Right.
cleaner, that type of thing. So yes, that gave me so much joy. And I realized
This is
there's
it.
something here.
Yeah.
But it took me
Fantastic.
6 years to launch it from there.
Did it? Okay. I think that that's another also a reality that many people don't know is that you have the idea and it begins to evolve, but to get that out and thriving and moving, and especially in products that you're creating, it takes a significant amount of time.
Well, it does, but it was actually because I couldn't work out how I was going to do it. 'Cause how do you set up a business when you've been having a massive six-figure salary, walking away from it? All your lifestyle is built around that. Schools, your kids, everything. To then, actually, what happened is it went on the shelf. I took my next corporate job in Australia, and you do the same thing, ultimately you get the same results. So, a year down the line, I was feeling stressed and anxious, returned home to the UK in 2018 after 4 years in Australia. Then I tried to launch the business. It was post-Brexit. It was a tricky time. I tried to look for funding. I mean, here I am. I'm totally out of my depth. I had no idea what I was doing. And I was also looking for a job, but I mean, at this time, the anxiety was really, really bad. I mean, this is probably one of the lowest times of my life. So I was looking for a job too. And then I got the Topshop fashion director job, which was everything I said I'd never do, but I did it because I had to. I needed a job. But actually, it's funny, isn't it? When you have something which really takes you to such a low point, you can either sink or swim. And I'm a fighter. I'm a winner. I'm unstoppable. Something drove me, and I was at Topshop all the way through COVID in the background. Every Monday, I set myself my intentions for my week. I wrote them down. On a Friday, I checked in. Have you done what you said you were going to do? I held myself to account, and I built the business on, in terms of an investor deck, the story, the whole marketing business plan, all the financial plans. And I was then introduced to someone, which I know I must be on the right path because it's a man called Cedric Wilmot, who was at the time the president of Michael Kors in EMEA, Europe, Middle East and Asia. And he was looking to invest in sustainable brands and human-centric brands. And so my friend was coaching his exec team and she said, you have to meet this man. I'm like, why would he want to meet me? And he did. And we had a wonderful call. And he said, I'm really interested in investing. And 6 months later, I was made redundant from ASOS and he invested. So that was 4.5 years ago
Fantastic.
now.
Look at
Lucky
that.
stars.
Well, I don't know. We position ourselves in
Yes.
places as well, right? And you had been doing the work even in the background to think about what you wanted to do with the brand and what it meant to you. So it was maybe on the shelf, but it was still alive and you were still thinking about it and what
Yeah.
you wanted to do. So
Yes. No,
incredible.
it was such a monumental shift for me in my life. But
Hmm.
And I think this is, I think my story, everyone has versions of my story, and I see this all the
Hmm.
time. So at that point where he invested, my confidence was so low. I was riddled still with this anxiety. I was uncomfortable in myself. So I actually, from there on in, whilst learning to run a brand and be a CEO, which I'd never been, I also had to heal myself and recover. And so the two things have gone hand in hand really
So
nicely.
Peachaus has been part of your healing process.
Yeah. Peachaus, interesting enough, I've really noticed this. It finds people. People find Peachaus, and it's a place to heal. It's beautiful actually. And I started that journey of actually stepping into who I am, who I was born to be, which I'm hugely grateful I found it in this lifetime. I mean, years of lacking in confidence and I guess traumas and stuff that I've just bottled away. I used to pride myself on my strength and my resilience, and all I was doing was just pushing things down. And ultimately, things come up and you have to deal with them.
You have to
So
deal.
for me, 4 years of looking after myself, learning to see what makes me happy. I always used to think I didn't want to be on my own. I had an injury to my knee, and I had to go and spend some time at our cottage on my own for 10 days just because of logistics of family and stuff. I had to do it. And it was the first time I'd ever spent any time on my own in my life, and I loved it, and I realized how much peace and quiet and stillness meant to me, and I learned that I love nature and to connect with nature, and I mean, I've always been an active person, but I know now what I have to do to keep myself in balance. I learned to get out of here and to go into my heart. I live in my heart center now. I connect with energy. I'm a multidimensional being, I'd say now, and I lead in that way.
Fantastic. So we've had a couple of conversations and I've been shocked at some of the things that you've dealt with actually your products, because one of the main things in that you pride yourself on are bras and bra fittings.
Yeah.
And I think that that's incredible because so many women, you've told lots of stories
Yeah.
around women who are wearing bras that were uncomfortable,
Yeah.
that weren't fitting right. And that was a bit of the direction that we spoke on when you were on the panel for this women's health theme. And can you tell me a bit more about that? Like, how do you see also bras and bras fittings and actually being with the well-being of a woman and actual taking care of her breasts as well and
Yeah.
the garments that we wear?
Yeah. Well, this is such a deep subject. We think of a bra just as a piece of clothing. What I've really learned is it's not. And I think the industry treats it like it is a bit of clothing and a product that creates an aesthetic. A bra is such a fundamental part of how a woman feels. That piece of engineering that goes around a woman's body can either give her confidence and make her feel feminine and sensual and beautiful, or it can actually be an inhibitor to comfort, posture, emotionally, how you feel. I see too many examples of women who take their bra off during a bra fit and they have red marks around their body. They just think that's normal. So the industry has failed women because it has not, one, told women or explained to women what comfort is in a bra. Two, totally confused women because brands fit differently. Some put you into a structure that restricts you and others don't. So this product is such a key part of how a woman feels and aligns with herself. So I'm really passionate about this. And our bra fits are not just that we don't go in to sell. We go in to create a really beautiful, memorable experience, which talks to a woman as a human being, surrounds her in care, and demonstrates through fit how that can be life-changing. Your bra can be life-changing. And you're right, Sabine, I've had so many beautiful moments and experiences with women who discover through their bra how it can bring them to life. I have women going, is that me? Looking at themselves in the mirror, is that me? Is that really me? My God, it's like that. I don't believe what's just happened to me. So I am on a mission to fit as many women as I can to help them through their fitting ignite their power because it's transformational.
Mhm.
and step into their comfort zone, find their comfort. And yes, coming back to what you talked about, I'm coming up against some really interesting, I'm learning a lot. So the first thing that I had learned in through our bras is actually by putting them on Facebook. So obviously we advertise through Facebook, and this is TikTok too. Images are banned if your nipples are showing. So our bras are really light, beautiful laces and meshes. So you do see the shadow of your nipples through the bras, and we had them banned off Facebook because apparently women shouldn't show their nipples. So that was the first thing for me. I thought, what's this about?
What?
This gets deeper, and I'm sure I'm going to find out more. So one of the things that we're doing, because women are in the wrong bra size, living with discomfort, not having bra fits, that's a whole other story. We'll come on to that in a minute. We are taking bra fits. We're taking the friction away, and we're taking bra fits to where women are. Where are they? Well, they're everywhere. They're in offices, health clubs, festivals.
Yep.
And so this is the journey we're on. We've been going into some corporate businesses, and it's a massive learning curve. But I was really quite shocked recently. We went into one business, and everything was going along really well. We had a few weeks booked in to be doing bra fits, and 2 weeks before we were due to go in and start, we were told we won't be using the word bra on our marketing, and we won't be promoting bra fitting. So I'm like,
That's what the goal was,
well,
correct? To
that's
do
why I'm
that?
here. Yeah, because
That's why
you
you're
know
here.
what? We're solving a problem that 80% of women are in the wrong bra size. And it's like, well, why won't we talk about this? Because we might make someone uncomfortable. So it was a really interesting moment for me that makes me more determined to bust these myths. I don't know. Are they myths?
Is it a myth? It's incredible that the word that you I was really surprised to hear that you couldn't use the word bra. It's
Yeah.
like, what?
Yeah.
That just it doesn't make any sense at all.
No, I'm still
And they felt that
scratching.
it would be uncomfortable for individuals there to hear the word bra.
To read it, to see it, to hear it. And I do understand we're taking bra fitting into corporate environments, but we're coming from a wellness point of view. This is about making sure that the women in in your organizations are functioning to the best of their ability in every way. And what we're saying is we've worked out that they don't. So because of a bad bra.
Because it's a bold step in itself, right? I think this idea that organizations are bringing you in to do bra fittings for their employees is incredible. You don't. I've never. I live in Germany, and I have never heard that a company were to do that. I don't know. Is that something that you've seen, or are
I
you one
think
of the
that
first to do this?
Well, I would say that there is no one doing it at scale. So, so no one is doing at scale what we're planning to do, what we are doing. I have heard of a few companies just doing a little bit of a pop up here and there, but
Mm,
not what
nothing.
we're doing. Um, I think it's a really interesting time for in every aspect, the
Mm,
world, retail, consumerism. I think that we are at the forefront of change, and we are, I believe, driving a new behavior, a new way of operating in a consumerism environment. So yes, obviously, everything we do is about putting back to the planet more than we
mm,
take, but it's actually putting the human being at the forefront. We're in a world of distraction. We don't have peace in our lives. We're always on, and we're
mm,
actually challenging that. And we are saying we're going to bring calm and peace and care. We're going to remind ourselves that actually we are human beings, and we are all about the human connection. So we're driving a very different lifestyle, and it's all around wellness as well. So we call our model actually the IRM, the integrated retail model, if you've got to put a little term on things. So, which means we go in first, talk about the experience, how we can provide education and knowledge to make better choices and learn about your bodies. And then product. If the product, we don't go in to sell, the product will sell anyway. So it's a very upside down way of looking at things.
I love that. Well, I hope more and more companies do this. And also, we had talked about some kind of wild ideas too about, you're right, festivals. I think that I recently saw some posts that you were at a festival as well and
Yeah.
doing bra fittings there. So I love that. I love taking it to women because oftentimes they're rushing, even when they go shopping, you just pull something off the rack and you're like, could it? And
Yeah.
you hold it up and you purchase it. And then you get home and it doesn't fit and then you wear it anyway. And
Yeah.
and I think that if this experience of wearing something that is really uncomfortable, and if you're presenting and you want to be at your best, that matters because how you feel under your clothes, and if you're being pinched or if something is poking or prodding you, then you're not at your best, so you can't kind of perform at your best. So it is so important, and
Yeah.
I think it's fabulous that you're doing this and you're making it natural and beautiful to have a bra fitting, as it should
Yes.
be.
Yes, as it should be. And actually, we're making it so memorable that actually, if you put your kind of commercial corporate head on, it's all about customer retention, customer loyalty.
Mhm.
And when you've had an amazing experience, you go and tell your friends about it, you'll go back to that brand. So the loyalty is
Mhm.
built in the experience. And it's not about profit at any cost. It's actually about human care and connection at any cost. And that's how I'm training all the women who are, now coming in to be our Peachettes, we're calling them, our Peachaus brand ambassadors. They're not. It's a very special role, and it requires people with empathy, human connection, and genuinely wanting to make a difference and to create a movement of change.
Yeah, that's incredible. And also what I saw with your products is that you've spoken about this, is your sizing. And that is also something that I think is yeah, what are the right sizes to buy? And it's been confusing. And, I've been buying bras yeah, not for 60 years. Okay, that's how old I am, but I didn't get them when I was born, but for quite a long time. and and you change as you evolve and grow, and then what is the right size? So tell me a bit about your process in
Yeah.
rethinking that.
So I think one of the things I'll say first is that as women, you're right, our bodies do change all the way through our lives. Whether it's hormonal, whether it's childbirth, menopause, we put on weight, we lose weight. And one of the things which we aren't really told is during your life, you should have a bra fit at least once a year to take into account all those body changes. So that's a really, really important thing. In the underwear industry, sizing was introduced probably over 100 years ago, and just imagine what their wardrobes were like, what they wore, what they ate, what their lifestyles were like 100 years ago, very different to now. So actually that sizing system is totally out of date, and it has never been updated. So we challenged ourselves when we were creating the brand. And we said, okay, so how can we simplify this? Because it's just so confusing. One brand measures differently to another. So we said, well, actually, women generally know their body frame size, whether it's an S, an M, an L, an XL. And we then said, well, why don't we just simplify the cup sizes? We start at a cup size 1 and we go up to a cup size 8. So we do S, M, L, 1 to 8. So that covers 32 is an S, 34 is an M, and 36 is an L. We will go up to bigger sizes. And our cup sizes start at a B, which is a 1. They go up to a G, which is an 8. So simple. For instance, I'm a medium body frame, so I'm an M, and my cup size is a D, which is a 3. So I'm an M3. So when you talk to a woman and you say, and by the way, we haven't just thrown out the old size, we keep that in parallel because otherwise that would be just too much for women. But when we say
Right.
to a woman, you know what? Let me talk to you about our sizing. And do you know why we're challenging it? And then you say, this is what your size would be actually. We don't use tape measures, it's all visual. It's all about how you feel. You own your body. You know how you want to feel. I would go, oh, look, you're a medium body frame and I'm from sight, you're a D cup. So you're an M3. They love that simplicity. They go, God, that's brilliant. It's just so
It
simple.
is. Yeah, it is simple.
So again, we're challenging everything here. We go on, it's your body, you own your fit. It's how you want to feel. So I did fit a woman a couple of weeks ago, and she was in a 36 back. So that's for us is an L. But she asked me, she wanted to go down a size. She liked it tight around here. So we ended up going, and I said, this is your body. You tell me how you want to feel. I'm not dictating to you in any way. And that's really important. It's a real shift.
Yeah, that is a real shift. And your customers stay then. So I'm assuming that how do they when they get their first fitting?
Yeah.
How does that go? Do they feel
Yeah.
more comfortable then? Are you seeing that they really stick and with you and the product and expand
Yeah.
in the products that you're offering?
Well, I'd love to talk you through what happens in a fitting.
Yeah.
When a woman comes for a fitting, and by the way, when we go into a corporate office, we make a beautiful environment. We transform a room, which is like maybe a meeting room, into a really beautiful pop-up. We bring in our gorgeous Japanese screens. We have lovely mirrors. We have lovely candles and pottery that we also do. So we got gold rails, and we put all our beautiful products all in their color themes and stories. So you get immediately a beautiful visual experience. And then they step in. Most women, let's say in a corporate environment, they may be a bit time poor. So you have to be quite cognizant of that. But we go, how was your last bra fit? And they'll go, how was it? Or when was it? And then you've opened the door to understanding what's going on behind that mask. And then they go, oh my gosh, you know what? I haven't had a fit since I was 18. Or, well, actually, very rarely I had one last year. But more often than not, it's either never or I only have ever had one once, but I know I should, but I never do because I tried to go into MS once and I couldn't get a bra fit. They told me I had to book online. I'm just not that well planned. I was passing the door, or, they maybe had a bad experience, or they just got used to wearing that bra they've worn for 5 years, 10 years. I once had a
And
woman
keep
who probably
reordering
worn the
it.
same
Yeah.
bra since she was, or the bra size since she was 16. So then you say, well, let me tell you what size you are. So you do it visually. You ask about what size they think they're wearing. The boob stories start coming out. Oh, and which is wonderful. And then we choose some bras, and we have only we have these icon products. We don't have loads of styles. That's not our model. We just have these beautiful, perfect works of art products. So we try them then in a few of them. And that's when the transformation starts. That's when, my God, I can't feel I'm wearing this bra. It feels like I'm wearing air. And then they look at themselves in the mirror and go, oh my goodness, that's so, and it's beautiful. And we got lots of beautiful colors. So that's what happens in a fit, and that's where the transformation happens. And we have actually got some amazing stories I'm just going to go on to because I think this is really special about women who had very special stories in their fits. And there's one which she was actually at this festival in Wales recently. It was insane. We did 188 bra fits in 3.5 days
Wow.
because women know they need to. And when it's put in front of them, then they just go for it. But I had this one woman, Linda, and I'll never forget. I saw her standing in our tent, and she was like, kind of like, she was just felt like her emotion all over her. And I just went up to her and touched her arm, and I said, oh, I'm the founder of the brand. Can I help you? And she said, well, I've had 9 years of cancer treatment, and I promised myself that I would have a bra fit when I finished my last reconstruction. And that was 3 weeks ago. Ironically, here we are at this festival doing bra fits.
Uh-huh.
She then kind of burst into tears, and she said, I don't know if I can do this. And it was massive for her. I, I said, look, we can do this together. So we did, and we picked some bras, and she showed me her breasts, and she talked about the choices that she'd had to make in her reconstruction. Was she going to go for hard tissue or soft? She had just had her nipples tattooed on. She talked to me how she rebuilt her femininity and herself as a woman. And can you imagine me going through this with her at this moment after 9 years? It was such a privilege. And I knew this had to be a really beautiful experience for her. And we tried on the bra. She looked amazing. I mean, her figure was amazing. She'd had also tissue removed from her belly to put into her breasts. And what she'd had to go through to
Mhm.
reconstruct herself. And now she was coming out as a new woman. But yeah, and then she loved the bras. She bought bras. I mean that I it's just such a special story.
That is a very special
This
story.
is what we're here to do. We're here we held, and that for her was a really important moment in rediscovering who she was and her femininity, and we were there.
That's an incredible story, and I'm sure there's so many more. And I can imagine because you do identify as a woman, especially after having there are no words to even to share about that because I just can't imagine how emotional it was for her and for you to be a part of that and to share that with her and to help her
Yeah. But this is the
take that
space.
step.
This is the space that we're in, and this is why you and I, when we started talking, connecting, we both feel so passionately about identity, you know, someone's identity, and what I'm now learning, where I've got to, is that over time, women, we've been I mean, I looked this up actually this weekend. I looked at when did women lose their power? When were women marginalized? When were we stereotyped into roles? And actually, I looked back over history as to how things changed. And, you know, we're we're trying to have it all. We're trying to be a career woman, a mother, a sister, a friend. And in all of that, we actually forget we've got to give to ourselves. And this is what I see in the bra
Absolutely.
fitting. So there's this whole thing for me, which is actually as women, and I think I'm not, I say men have their own version of the story, but we're trying to rediscover our place in society and humanity.
Yeah.
It's quite deep.
It is very deep, and it goes to the point one of the things that I wanted to talk to you about as well is that we live in such a society, and you've mentioned it several times now. Speed, speed, speed. We also had this when I was starting the session. I was also had lots of things before, and I'm like, okay, just take a breath, and I'm here, and I'm with you, and let's stop moving so quickly. And that's such an important piece. And actually, what a company, going back to this idea of organizations bringing this into their space and supporting women in that way, that they give them the time and space to kind of come down and to do that and to take care of themselves, which is so incredibly valuable.
Yes,
Yeah. That more and more. So I love this idea that companies can actually give that to women by bringing you in and giving them some time and actually to smell the candles and not rush in between meetings, but to take some time and to reflect on who you are and what you want and where you want to go. Who
that's
knew
it.
that a bra fitting could give you that space?
I know. And I really hope that we can expand on what that time actually is. So when we were putting our model together, we wanted to allow 45 minutes for a woman to come into the space, to have a beautiful experience, and then walk away. But actually, what we learned from our first corporate bra fittings was actually women are a bit time poor, rushing from meeting to meeting. My boss is actually waiting for me. So actually, we realized we needed to reduce the time we now making it half an hour, but that would be wonderful for me if a company actually would say, "Do you know what? Every year, we want you to come back every year or every month, however many women there are, but we want you to have an hour. We want you to book out that hour out of your calendar, you know, in advance. It's our gift to you, for you, which is a Peachaus bra fit moment."
Yeah,
Love
that's a
that.
beautiful idea. I love that too. And again, it goes with the values that you're talking about. And I think one of the things that the shift that you made in your career had to do with the values and what you wanted to bring into Peach House and how you wanted the company culture to be and the values that you have. And tell me a bit about those. I mean, I've gotten you get a very good, a clear picture of what your values are listening to you talk about the company and what you want to give to the women that are coming in and experiencing the fittings and also purchasing other beautiful products as well.
My values are very much rooted in how I want to feel. I always want to be able to feel that I am shining my diamond. I am
Mm,
comfortable and not in any shape or form, not feeling centered and balanced. And so so my values are, how do I create that in my environment? So in terms of the people, it's very much around acceptance and accepting we're all totally different, wired differently, different experiences. I cannot apply my view of the world on anyone else. So there's a whole thing around letting people's diamonds shine, accepting them for who they are, and actually encouraging and nourishing and allowing people to blossom and bloom. So that's a really important value to me. Total or honesty, transparency, authenticity is really, really important to me. Yeah, I mean, look, you can feel it. It's just I just want people to be living their best lives, supported by each other. I mean, if you call it
mm,
utopia, it is utopia. We've become such a fear-based,
yeah,
aggressive world, and we've really lost why, this is a gift. A life is a gift. So
it
actually,
is.
I'm the antithesis of that. I'm creating an environment which is all about the human being, living a great life, connecting as humans, and genuine care and love.
Yeah. That is a good thing. We need more of that. And if you reflect, because the podcast is called Be the Ripple Podcast, so what ripple do you hope the Peachaus leaves for women, for the industry, and also for the next generation?
So I think the ripple that I would love to be a tsunami is actually shifting away from a retail model, which is so based in profit at any cost. It's not just a fashion, it's how we've built our businesses to be. And actually, the ripple is that fashion can be a force for good, and fashion actually mends and repairs and nourishes rather than destructs.
It's a beautiful ripple, and you're well on your way. The tsunami is starting. Well, Gillian, I feel so lucky to have met you, that our paths crossed. Thank you, Samuel, right, for bringing us together on this panel. And I'm excited also about the ripples of that, because we still have, we're exploring ideas on, can we do an event together?
Yes.
Does something make sense with a bra fitting and then a book reading, and bringing that to organizations? I feel really blessed about that. And sometimes it just takes a bit of time to figure all that out too. So
Yeah.
let's see where that evolves.
I hope
And
so
I wish
too.
you so many ripples, and thank you for what you do and the values that you bring to this, and for bringing such special moments to women, and doing a very important thing with the bra fitting, and also the other products, because I can also speak from firsthand. I've purchased a couple of other things, and they're really beautiful. They're very comfortable. It's so interesting sometimes to try things on, that there's no pinching and uncomfortableness. When you put something on, you're like, oh yeah, that feels really nice. So
Yeah.
thank you for that.
Pleasure.
And if people would like to find you, where can they find you? I know you have a beautiful Instagram where you actually share some really nice videos that I love to watch. And where else can people find you?
Yeah, so if you want to follow us on our Instagram, it's Peachaus, Peachaus_life. And our website is peachhouse.com. And yeah, I'd be delighted to have people come and find us there. I have a blog within the website as well, and obviously on LinkedIn. And you can
Hmm.
follow me, Gillian Ridley Whittle, on LinkedIn. I'm getting quite active.
I know it's a lot of work to be so active on the social media, but you have to, because that's how people find you, and that's so
Yes.
important.
Oh, and actually, yeah, I should really say that as well. I will have my own Instagram. It's very small, but it's Gilly P. Ridley Whittle. But you see a lot of, as a founder, what I'm up to on that Instagram, which is always quite interesting.
Yeah. And also, I think it's interesting for people to reach out because of this shift that you made. We've talked about your beautiful product, but also having a shift in your career and doing something that feels just intrinsically like the right thing to do, and to make that shift. And sometimes it takes time. Sometimes you have aha moments, but it's also like listening to yourself and listening to your intuition, your body, and what you need to do. So you're such an inspiration for that.
Thank
So I'm
you.
sure people could potentially reach out to you to
Yes,
talk about that, about this change. How do I know, and what should I do? Because
it's
not
what should I
everyone is
do?
willing to take
Yeah.
take that jump. And sometimes it doesn't have to be a jump, it can just be a step.
Yes. I think it is a very important step to discovering who you are and actually what depths of happiness and joy exist if you go and find them. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.